everyone, welcome you back in my geography class. I hope all of you are fit and fine. Today we will continue our discussion on the topic of non-conventional sources of energy from the chapter Mineral and Power Resources of class 8. In the earlier videos, we have already discussed about the conventional sources of energy, and we have started our discussion on the topic of non-conventional sources of energy, where we discussed about three non-conventional sources of energy. Those are solar energy, wind energy, and nuclear energy. Today, we will continue with the discussion of other three non-conventional sources of energy. Those are geothermal energy, tidal energy, and biogas. So without wasting much of our time, let us start with geothermal energy. Now, what do you mean by geothermal energy? Geothermal energy is the energy that is obtained from the interior of the earth. That means the heat energy obtained from the interior of the earth is called the geothermal energy. We know that our earth is divided into three layers. If we talk about the structure of the earth, it is divided into three layers. The first layer is a crust, which is the thinnest most layer. The second layer is a mantle, where we will get the semi-molten material, the lava. And the third layer is a core, which is mainly formed of iron, right? So, as we go deeper in the interior of the earth, what happens? The temperature rises. So as we move deeper interior of the earth, that means from the crust, if we move towards mantle, core, we will see the temperature is going on increasing. And sometimes what happens? On the surface of the earth, there are natural cracks or fissures, and through these natural cracks or fissures, the heat from inside of the earth reaches the surface. That means the earth crust, it reaches to the surface of the earth in the form of hot spring or geyser. These are referred as the geothermal energy. So this heat energy that comes to the surface of the earth from the interior of the earth through a crack on the crust, the natural crack on the crust, in the form of hot spring or geysers, they are referred as the geothermal energy. Now here you can see this is a geothermal plant. Here we can see that wells are drilled 1 or 2 miles deep into the earth. Now, why these are drilled? So that it can pump out the hot water or steam. What happens? The wells are drilled 1 or 2 miles deep into the earth. So why? To pump out hot water or steam to the surface. Now this steam runs the turbine, and the turbine, which is connected to a generator, generates energy. Now mainly where we will observe the power plants. These power plants are mainly found in those areas, in the areas of hot springs or geysers, or in the areas of volcanic activities. Why? Because these are the places on the earth's surface. Below these places, below the surface of these places, we can see that it is hot. It is heat can come out. That is why we will find the geothermal plants where in the areas of hot spring, geyser, or volcanic activity. Now, depending on the characteristics of the geothermal energy, it can be used for cooking, heating, and bathing for several years. In West Bengal, there is a place called Bokreshwar, which is very famous for 8 hot springs. And it is believed that this hot spring has healing properties. That means if anybody will go and take a bath in this hot spring, any disease can get healed. So Bokreshwar is a place in West Bengal where we can find 8 hot springs. That means geothermal energy. In the world, USA has the largest geothermal power plants, followed by New Zealand, Iceland, Philippines, and Central America. And in India, we will find the geothermal power plants in Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh and Puga Valley in Ladakh. So what we learned about geothermal energy, that the heat energy which is obtained from the interior of the earth is called the geothermal energy. It comes out to the surface of the earth from the interior of the earth through any crack or fissure, which are natural cracks which we can see on the crust of the earth in the form of hot spring or geysers, and they are used for cooking, heating and bathing for several years. Now let us know about the advantages and disadvantages of the geothermal energy. Now let us know about the advantages and disadvantages of geothermal energy. The advantages of geothermal energy is that these are clean source of energy. These are eco-friendly and this source of energy is always available. That is why we call them as a non-conventional source of energy or the inexhaustible source of energy. Now coming to the disadvantages, it is costly to transport the electricity. Yes, it is quite costly to drill a well, then to connect the pipe with the turbine and to connect it with the generator and to provide electricity. It is quite costlier to set up the whole geothermal power plant, and thus it is costly to transport the electricity. Now let us know about the disadvantages of geothermal energy. The disadvantages of geothermal energy are: number one, they are costly to transport the electricity. As we can see that in geothermal power plants, we have to drill a well, then we need to take out the hot water, then the steam will be produced which will run the turbine which is connected to a generator, and then it will produce electricity. It is a whole costly process. To set up this geothermal plant is a whole costly process, and it is very costly to transport the electricity in this aspect. The second disadvantage of the geothermal energy is that there are limited suitable locations. As we have already read, that geothermal power plants are located where? In the places of hot spring, geysers or volcanic activities. So we can see that in terms of location, it is quite limited. So there are not too many suitable locations where we can install the geothermal power plants. Now let us know about the next non-conventional source of energy, that is tidal energy. Now let us know about the next non-conventional source of energy, that is tidal energy. So what is tidal energy? The energy which is produced by exploiting the tidal waves. That means the energy which are produced from the tides of the sea. So the energy which are produced by exploiting the tidal waves of the sea are referred as the tidal energy. Now, how the tides are caused? The tides are caused by the gravitational pull or the attraction of the sun and moon on the earth. Now, what happens? Here you can see, here we have a diagram of earth and this is moon. Now, as moon is much closer to earth than the sun, so the attraction of the moon is much stronger than the sun, and that is why we can see that a bulge is produced, and this bulge is high tide. So this is the area of high tide, and here where we cannot see any bulge, and this is the area of low tide. So there are two tides, high tide and low tide. Now what is high tide? High tide means when the level of water rises, it further moves up to the shore, and low tide means where the level of water falls down. So how do we obtain the tidal energy? We obtain the tidal energy by exploiting the tidal waves. That is the high tide of the sea. Sometimes we have also observed that high tides are higher than usual. Why this occurs? This occurs because sometimes the pull of the moon and the sun, they act in a same line. That means we will see that moon, earth, sun, they comes in a straight line, and especially occurs during the full moon or the new moon. At that time we will see that the tides, the high tides are higher than usual and the low tides are lower than the usual. Now what happens? How do we obtain the tidal energy? During the high tides, the turbines, here we can see the turbines. So these turbines start rotating, and these turbines are connected to a generator which produce tidal energy. Sometimes we also construct or we also build dams. Sometimes the tidal energy can be also harnessed by building of dams where at narrow openings of the sea. We will see that the tidal plants are constructed on the structures of the existing bridges, or sometimes they are completely submerged in the water. So the tidal plants are installed on the structures of the existing bridges or completely submerged in the water. So during the high tide, the turbines start rotating, which is connected to a generator, and it helps to obtain the tidal energy. So the tidal power plants can be installed where? Along the coast, because on the coast only we will get the tides and we obtain the tidal energy by exploiting the tidal waves. Now we will see that we are not utilizing this source of energy, or we are not tapping the source of energy recently. Why? Because there is absence of cost-effective technology, because it is quite costly to set up the tidal plants. That is why we can see that we are not using this source of energy for the time being, but we will use it in the future. Now, there are huge tidal meal farms which are found in Russia, France and Gulf of Kutch in India. Now, let us know about the advantages and disadvantages of tidal energy. Now, let us know about the advantages and disadvantages of tidal energy. Now, tidal energy are inexhaustible source of energy, and they are non-polluting source of energy. This energy can be used for present generation, and they can be also stored for future use. So these energy resources are of great importance. And what are the disadvantages of tidal energy? They are difficult to harness. Yes, we know it is very cost effective to set up the whole tidal power plant, and also we have to depend on the variability of the waves, because only during the high waves we can utilize the tidal energy. Negative influence on marine life forms, as they are installed completely submerged in the water, so they influence marine life forms. Location limit. In terms of location limit, we can say that the tidal power plants can only be installed along the coast and not in any other place. So that is a bigger disadvantage for the tidal energy. Now, let us move towards the last non-conventional source of energy, that is biogas. Now, let us discuss the last non-conventional source of energy, that is biogas. What is biogas? Biogas is a mixture of gases produced by the breakdown of organic matter or the organic waste, such as the dead plant and animal material, animal dung like cow dung, and kitchen waste, rotten vegetable peels. And this organic waste or the organic matter are converted into a gaseous fuel called a biogas. Now, let us understand that how do we produce biogas with the help of this diagram. Here you can see that this is a digester, an anaerobic digester or a biogas digester, which is a closed system. So this is a closed system. Now here what happens? These are the organic waste, the livestock waste, crops, wastewater and food waste, all are dumped into the digester. Now here what happened? In this closed system, that is the biogas digester, we will see that anaerobic digestion will be produced with anaerobic organism like bacteria. So what will happen? The organic matter, they are dumped into this biogas digester or an aerobic digester, and here anaerobic digestion will occur. That means the organic matter will be broken down in the absence of oxygen. In other words, we can say that the organic materials will get digested inside the closed system, that is a biogas digester or an aerobic digester, or fermentation of biodegradable materials will occur, and this will form biogas, and this will produce a mixture of gases, primarily two gases, methane and carbon dioxide. So we can say that biogas is primarily mixture of methane and carbon dioxide. Now the biogas that is obtained is used for heating and to generate electricity. And the leftover in the anaerobic digester, they are used as a fertilizer, that is an organic manure, and also in livestock bedding. Also we utilize the biogas in gas grid, and the biogas can replace the CNG, compressed natural gas, and it can be used as a clean source of fuel to run the vehicles. So how do we obtain biogas? In this biogas digester or the anaerobic digester, the organic waste are digested or decomposed by the anaerobic organism, that is bacteria, in the absence of oxygen, and they produce primarily two gas, which is methane and carbon dioxide, and biogas is a mixture of primarily of two gases, methane and carbon dioxide. So I hope all of you understood how do we obtain biogas. Now biogas is an excellent fuel which can be used for cooking and lighting. In rural areas of India, biogas is widely used. It is also called as the gobar gas. Each year, huge amount of organic manure are produced by harnessing this energy. So the leftover are used as organic manure or fertilizer and for livestock bedding. So what we read about what is biogas, how do we obtain the biogas, which are the two primary gases that are produced, that is methane and carbon dioxide, and we can say that biogas is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide. And also we have learned that the other name of biogas in India is gobar gas. In rural India, biogas is widely used, and each year huge amount of organic manure are produced by harnessing this energy. Now let us know the advantages and disadvantages of biogas. Now let us know about the advantages and disadvantage of biogas. Now the advantages of biogas are: number one, it is of low cost. That means to set up the biogas plant, it is not too much costly, it is easy to operate, and it produces manure in large amount which increase the fertility of the soil. Coming to the disadvantage, biogas got only one disadvantage, that is it causes greenhouse effect as it produces carbon dioxide. So in this chapter, what we have learned? We have learned that energy is all around us. There are some sources of energy which are available in abundance, and we call them as the non-conventional sources of energy, and there are some sources of energy which are available in a limited amount, and we need to take care of them. That means we cannot overutilize those sources of energy. because it may get depleted, and those are called the conventional sources of energy. So we can understand that how much important it is for us to conserve the energy resources. We should not think only about present generation or to fulfill our present needs, but we must think about our future generation, and thus it is important to conserve the energy resources. So in this video, what we have learned? In this video, we have learned about the three non-conventional sources of energy, that is geothermal energy, tidal energy and biogas. I hope all of you understood it very well. With this, we came to an end of the chapter. Now what you will do, you will read your books thoroughly and you will also follow the PDF that has been provided in the description box. If you have any problem or any suggestion, you can comment in the comment box given below. If you like my video, do share it with your friends and don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new to my channel and you have not subscribed my channel yet, subscribe to my channel and do hit the bell icon to get the further notification of my upcoming videos. Stay tuned. We will be back soon with a new chapter and with a new topic. Till then, take care, stay at your home and stay safe. Thank you.